Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and lots of things to talk about as far as North Korea and the news and Kim Jong-un is involved, and how mainstream media, specifically the New York Times and the Guardian, are warning people to prepare for the apocalypse, which is interesting, after September 23rd, which a lot of false people were claiming that that was the end of the world. Obviously, as I stated in my prior report, it was not. No rapture, no tribulation, nothing like that happened on September 23rd, but it was just a sign of the times in which we live, which God does talk about. That said, I've got a ton of news to talk about with you today and a few reports. Let's start with the report from the New York Times claiming, be ready for the apocalypse. Now I'm going to toss that up on the screen, and it's titled, it was put out September 23rd of all days, How to Survive the Apocalypse. Now this report gets into detail about some things you should purchase and buy in order to be ready for apocalyptic times. But I find it interesting that a mainstream media site like the New York Times is actually telling people to prepare for the apocalypse. But they're not the only ones. There's another report on theguardian.com, and this one's titled, How Do We Survive? Fearful Californians prepare for a nuclear attack. Now, this report goes on to detail that Hal Kempfer, a noted international security expert, is getting a room full of California public health officials and emergency responders together to think about the unthinkable, a nuclear bomb going off at the port of Long Beach, California. No joke. So they actually think that over in the Long Beach area that they believe that that's an exponential risk, a high risk area for Kim Jong-un to shoot off his missiles. So lots of hydrogen in the area of California as well, something else to think about on the side of that. But obviously some of the high-ranking officials there think that Long Beach, California is the target for Mr. Kim Jong-un. So just a heads up, if you're in that area, that's actually something they're talking about. And obviously Hawaii is also another threat. We know that Hawaii has warned its people on numerous occasions to be ready for Kim Jong-un's actions in the event that he wants to set off a missile or an EMP, which we know now, and I've talked about it for years, that he actually has that capability. So not only is they're saying Long Beach, California specifically, but also Hawaii, which we know, and many other places as well. But those are the ones that some of the officials and high-ranking people are speaking of. That said, we know that tensions are increasing between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. There's all kinds of battle. His new Rocket Man statement. Well, check out what he had to say about Kim Jong-un on Twitter. And I quote, "Just heard Foreign Minister of North Korea speak at the United Nations," because the UN meeting was going on, or is going on. "If he echoes thoughts of Little Rocket Man, Kim Jong-un, they won't be around much longer." Now, this is a straight up threat to North Korea, saying, hey, he's already threatened them on numerous occasions, but it seems like each little nugget is getting more and more. Kim Jong-un has shot multiple missiles now over Japan, places that they shouldn't even be allowed, but over the country there and into the ocean in a place that they shouldn't be meddling with. So they're deliberately pushing buttons, and they're putting out all kinds of propaganda videos, blowing up the White House. I've showed it on my channel before, blowing up cities in America. All these things are propaganda items, and most recently blowing up our ships in the water, our Navy ships in the water, and our jets in the sky. Now check out this latest report. It's actually from Washington Post, not my favorite, but North Korea stages anti-US rally in a battle with Trump. Now this report goes on to detail that a parade of marchers marched through the cities there, and they carried signs and slogans that were very anti-America, such as divisive revenge, death to the American imperialist, and shouted phrases like total destruction to America. Now, those came shortly after Donald Trump's response in regards to Rocket Man, and if they won't be around much longer if they continue on that path kind of speech, right? Well, here's one last report I want to show you, and this is from Hedge. Now, just the other day, the United States sent a B-1 bomber that flew off the coast of North Korea. Now, Hedge gets into 4 reasons why this time is different, and I'm going to share those with you because I think they're important. But one, he goes, it is farthest north of the demilitarized zone, which means we're kind of pushing the edge there. Second, it was flown at night. So he personally doesn't believe it was a show of force so much as a warning, and you know, it's because of the photos and all that it was kind of under the radar. Third, no Allied aircraft was known to have taken part in the mission, and that's at the time that he had wrote it. And four, it was a US Air Force job. No US Marine Corps stealth took place in that. So those are 4 reasons that he says, well, yeah, we've done some of that before, but this is a little bit different, a little bit more, and a little bit of pushing those boundaries. All that to say that obviously, they believe that something is going on. I believe North Korea is a real threat, obviously. Now, they push a lot of buttons, he plays a lot of games, and he likes to, well, be a nuthead. If I'm gonna be blunt, he's just nutty. But we cannot continue, in my opinion, to just allow that to go on, especially at the level that we're at. And yes, the globalists are pulling strings and causing things to happen. I do believe that. And North Korea is obviously a very big part of that. Maybe that's something that they're attempting to get Donald Trump to do with North Korea, to start an all-out war. And look, war is not something I want. They always end up bloody, horrible, bad. That's not something we want to go through, especially with a lunatic like Kim Jong-un, who would actually let off an EMP and doesn't care about life. He doesn't care about the people in his own community, much less they hate America. And not to mention their workings with other countries such as Iran, and many believe China and Russia are giving them the capability to have some of the firepower that they have now. So we've got lots of key players here. Lots of world people are pulling strings. Lots of things are happening. And if that cookie were to spark, we're going to have some players, Iran, Iraq, America, China, Russia, Japan, North Korea, obviously all these are going to be players, and probably Israel will jump in on the action, who knows. But all that to say, be ready for anything. And I wanted to get you the latest on this because there is so much going on that just needs to be discussed. Anyhow, please make sure you check out my partner at getthetea.com. He has the most amazing tea products, I kid you not. Once you try them, you will not go back. The Super Strength Tea, it helps fund what I do here, but not just because of that. It helps fight the globalists and keep my channel alive, but it works. Like, I've never heard a negative thing about it. And I actually give it out to a few of my friends here, and they're like, oh, it's the best thing ever. So make sure you go to getthetea.com, let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven, and check out some of their health products to keep you healthy at this time. Well, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.